Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you have already been here. So first of all, in my last video, a subscriber of mine, thank you so much, named Icebox, asked me to speak about the censoring of Black creators on social media. So today I'm here to do just that. Thank you so much for asking me to talk about this. It's a very, very important topic, and I think it's something that is still hidden. Like, it's not, I mean, Black people know, but it's not in the media the way it should be, or no longer in the media the way it should be. It's no longer present. So it's typical for white organizations to kind of like brag about, okay, we've seen you, we've had you, now let's move on. You know, they give Black people that few days or weeks of fame by acting as if they're hearing their voices and hearing that they're crying out about not being seen on social media or being banned on social media. And now they are back to their BS. So I've done a lot of, actually I've read quite a lot of Google research about that, because there are several news companies that reported about this. So in the beginning of this year, or as we all know, the Black Lives Matter movement had a huge stand in the media earlier this year after George Floyd was murdered, which also led in a lot of protests. A lot of people started posting about the Black Lives Matter movement. Of course, a lot of snow roaches had the caucasity to in any way compare the Black Lives Matter movement to the KKK or to the Aryan Brothers or to any other white supremacist movement, which is, of course, complete bullshit. The Black Lives Matter movement, I just want to make this very clear because I know you are going to be here. So let me just address you right now. The Black Lives movement, the Black Lives Matter movement came from resistance, rebellion, and surviving oppression. Meanwhile, the KKK, the Aryan Brothers, any other racist party comes from a false form of superiority, from racism, from hate. So you can absolutely not compare the two. Just to get this very clear, the Black Lives Matter movement wouldn't still be a topic in 2020 if ongoing white supremacy and oppression wouldn't be enabled by white society globally. So just to get this off my chest. So by the 2nd of June, 2020, the CNBC.com reported that Black creators on TikTok cried out that their videos, whenever they tagged them with the hashtag BLM or Black Lives Matter or anything like that, were getting 0 views. So TikTok actually apologized for that and said it was due to technical issues. Well, I am not a programmer. I am not an IT specialist. In another article, I found, the article was from CNN, I found that the same hashtag, the same technical issue was also affecting the hashtag Hello and Cat. Now, shall we go into this a second? The hashtag BLM, Black Lives Matter, anything related to that is a hashtag that was, especially this time around, of very huge interest. Was very popular by that time around as the media made it a trend. Of course, the trend is gone by now because apparently Black lives don't matter to white people all year long, right? So how in the world did TikTok know that Hello and Cat was affected when literally nobody complained about that? So I would, not that I'm accusing somebody, I just want to get this out there because technically any social media platform can control their own algorithm. They can control the way people are seen and being seen, or the way people see things. So what if the rhythm or the algorithm or the hashtags that were affected by technical difficulties or issues were all put together in one pot? You know, nobody would know if the hashtags BLM, Black Lives Matter, racism, white supremacy, whatever, were put together in the same pot with Hello and Cat, and all these things were done intentionally to act as if, oh, those hashtags were also affected, which doesn't matter because those hashtags are not of social importance. Those hashtags have nothing to do with people losing their lives. So you bringing up that those hashtags were also affected is like saying, oh, but white people, when that's like when black people cry out that white people are racist, and then you come up and say, oh, but black people are racist too. First of all, it's bullshit, and secondly, it doesn't have anything to do with the topic. So them bringing up the topic that Hello and Kat were affected is like saying, well, sorry, but sorry. You know, it's like trivializing what happened. Furthermore, I absolutely do not trust any white organization, so I wouldn't even 100% believe that this happened out of technical issues, because the moment it happened was just not right, you know. So you're telling me that right in this moment, right in this time, where the hashtag was so known and so common and was creating a lot of traffic and a lot of knowledge and waking a lot of people up, you have technical issues that banned exactly that hashtag? Please. By the 2nd of October, 22nd of October, Euronews.com reported that Facebook and Instagram admitted to labeling the hashtag Ensas as misinformation or false information. Now, just a little back information for those of you who might not know. The hashtag Ensas was brought up by Nigerians in Nigeria to protest police brutality. SARS is actually the anti-robbery squad in Nigeria that is known to be very corrupt, very violent, accusing people falsely, taking people of their money. They have even been accused of killing. There have been several cases where people reported of falsely being accused of one crime or the other, had their property stolen by the SARS. It was a huge problem, or it's still a huge problem in Nigeria. By now, SARS has been like defunded or removed, which was not enough, because the officers or the people that worked for SARS or under SARS have been deployed to other departments of the police department, which does not solve the problem. Giving the problem another name doesn't solve the problem, but going into this will be too much. So definitely Facebook later apologized that third-party fake checkers mistakenly leaded that hashtag as false information, which we all know that's rubbish. How? Just how? How? Make it make sense, guys. There is no sense behind that. You saw that there is a great awakening and you you banned that hashtag because, okay, what happens if Facebook bans or Facebook labels and hashtag misleading information? It creates less traffic. It's less seen. It creates less attention. Less people come across that hashtag. Therefore, less people know about the problem. Unfortunately, fortunately for the movement, by that time, it has already become so huge that different celebrities like Naomi Campbell, for example, cried out on Twitter, accusing Instagram and Facebook of censoring Black creators. So like I said, Facebook apologized. We all know those apologies mean absolutely nothing. By the 22nd of July, Times.com, and by the 19th of May, CNN.com reported that TikTok Black creators had their videos taken down, were shadow banned, were blocked from commenting, receiving messages, whatever. And CNN had the caucasity to end their their statement or their article with a positive, they were like, oh, that TikTok is now acting like they are being seen, they're seeing the creators. And then the founder of Black Lives Matter Utah, Lex Scott, then said that she's happy that something is happening and that Black creators are now being seen in social media. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, of course. To me, that's rubbish because we are in December and I'm not seeing no changes. Okay, so that's nonsense. That's straight up a lie. TikTok is not seeing anybody. TikTok is still banning people. TikTok is still shadow banning Black creators. They might not censor hashtag the way they did back then, because right now, no technical issues, right? But still, Black creators are not getting the traffic they deserve, and especially don't get the credit they deserve. That's one of the most famous TikTokers. I'm not going to call her name. I don't know, with her legal department. One of the biggest TikTok creators, a 16-year-old white girl, y'all know her name, stole a dance from a, I think, 14 or 15-year-old Black girl, the Renegade, got famous and never for one day gave credit to that girl. And she made that a TikTok dance, Both the creator of the song and the creator of the dance were black, received 0 credits, and it is like this all over TikTok. Black creators are having their content stolen without credit. Now, my fellow snowflakes, all the snow roaches out there, they will be like, oh, but TikTok, it's all about copy and paste. Yes, we all know TikTok is about trends. One does a trend. Still, fashion is about trends, and people in fashion industry get credited for their trends. Okay, under normal circumstances, that's as long as the founder of the trend isn't black. We often hear that Louis Vuitton set this trend, Dolce & Gabbana set this trend, this company set this trend, now this summer this company is setting this trend. Like 3 years back, Zara made a huge scandal by appropriating West African wax prints and calling them summer prints. They made sales that night, that summer, and they never gave black people, Africans, credit for having for this being an African fabric. They appropriated it, made money with it, never gave credit. This is a common thing. We've been doing this since 1444. Don't you tell me otherwise. Google is free. It has always been like this. So this is not a matter of being a trend or not being a trend, because even if it's a trend, you can still give credit. It doesn't cost you nothing. Another one that's been appropriated by 2 black brothers, they are calling themselves Source to Sourced on TikTok. They like from the dance, the Sourced walk, and it has been all over TikTok. It even reached the Philippines, and nobody ever gave them credit. So they started a campaign to ask for their dance credits, which is absolutely 2000% their right, and people dragged them for that. People dragged them. Luckily for them, or luckily for common sense, a few good people went to those videos and be like, okay, why don't you just give dance credits? Some people have the caucasity to upload this dance, tag their friends, but don't tag the original creator of the dance, which I can understand that maybe you don't know the moment you upload it, because you might have seen it somewhere else. You are like, oh, let me copy the idea. It's not that simple. Everybody using TikTok is from 16 years above. If you are minor, 16 years and under, you're not even supposed to be on TikTok. So if you are 16 years and older, you can do your research. If you can upload a TikTok dance and make money with TikTok because you are in the TikTok Creator Fund, then you can do your research. You don't need to just go and copy things without even knowing where they come from. That's not right. If we all do this in school, we will all be failing classes. So what gives you the right to do on TikTok what you couldn't have been doing in school? So this is not something about having a trend, copying the trend, getting famous. If it's a trend and you got it from somewhere else, give the person credit. It's really not that hard, you know. That leads me to another thing. Big creators, big responsibility, guys. If you are a creator on TikTok and you have a huge following, you have a huge responsibility. TikTok, okay, we can all agree that TikTok was created for fun. Nevertheless, if you use TikTok for any form of activism, an activist, you're only an activist if you're black. You are not an activist if you're white. If you're white and you speak against racism, you're a decent human being, not an activist. Okay, we don't do this here. So if you are a big creator, you have a big responsibility. Now, people be like maybe having only 500 followers, you still have 500 people watching you. Do you know what 500 people is? When last did you stand on a stage and you had 500 people watch you? Even 10 people watch you. If you are on TikTok and your responsibility grows with your following, we don't argue about this. We all expect teachers to be good role models. Some of you accuse celebrities for drinking, for drugging, for saying bad words or misbehaving, but you don't want to use these measurements on yourself. If you put yourself on the internet, you have responsibility because you are influencing people. You don't need to have millions of clicks for that. You are influencing somebody once you put yourself on the internet. I'm just saying that the bigger your following gets, the bigger your responsibility gets. And some people don't seem to understand that. You are putting a message out there. You are putting yourself out there. Of course, there are creators that do only funny content, you know, they just do comedy. I mean, do you, boo? Use TikTok for whatever the hell you want to use it for, but you cannot be, for example, supporting the LGBT plus community, and then once it comes about Black Lives Matter, you're like, no, honey. It's either you support all lives or you don't support any life, because once you support a minority, you cannot measure which minority suffers less, especially not when you are a white person. You don't get to define who suffers less or who suffers the most and who deserves your support and who doesn't. If you support a minority, if you support any minority, you're supposed to support all minorities. And there is no whataboutism here. It doesn't matter that LGBTQ plus members suffer differently than black people. They are black LGBTQ plus members that are suffering from different angles. They are black women that are queer and they suffer from sexism, they suffer from racism, they suffer from homophobia. They have everything coming onto them. So you go out there and be like, oh, with the LGBTQ flag in your bio, and then once it comes about black lives, you're like, oh, but I'm not black. Honey, black people wouldn't be where they are if we weren't who we are, or if we wouldn't have been who we have been, okay? Another thing is, something that has me very fishy, like very fishy. All these big creators on TikTok, all these years, you were all over Facebook, all over Twitter, all over Instagram, all over TikTok, gaining followers like mad. Like, you have a following of, I don't know, 500,000 people, which is not that uncommon on TikTok because TikTok pulls crowd easily. What are your intentions? Sometimes I see people, this particular person I spoke with before, I'm not seeing How Am I For You because I dabbed. I deleted and blocked. I can't see this kind of nonsense because it makes no sense to me. But what are the intentions of some big creators by putting BLM in their bio after George Floyd was murdered? So y'all didn't know black people suffer from racism before George Floyd was murdered? Did you guys live behind the moon before George Floyd was murdered? I mean, this is not a topic that is a 2020 topic. This is a topic that started in 1444. You know, this is not something that we started talking about now or black people started complaining about now. This is something that black people have been crying out for the last 500 years. So where have you been? What's your intention? So you know that Black Lives Matter is trending and you put it in your bio and you think, oh, I'm an ally. I've put BLM in my bio. I'm not racist. No, please no. Another thing, I don't know if this matches the topic, but I'm still going to say it anyway because many companies realized this year after George Floyd was murdered that black dollars and black voices are power. And these are companies like Amazon, for example. And I'm always going to drag Amazon until the last breath that enters, that I exhale from my body, because Amazon is one of the companies that first and foremost, no man should be this rich. No single individual should be this rich. No single individual should be making money in a minute more than his warehouse workers make in a whole year. That one apart. I know people that work with Amazon. I know them personally, face to face. I know what they have gone through there. I had it. Amazon is the last company on planet Earth, together with Apple, Samsung, Huawei and Co, that should be putting BLM on their website. Still, you people had the caucasity to put BLM in their website after George Floyd was murdered in front of everybody's eyes. All these treatments that I have been seeing throughout the year 2020 only confirms my opinion towards fellow white people being subconsciously racist and sometimes intentionally racist to an extent that they even defend their own racism by saying they're not racist because they put BLM in their bio, or because I don't know, they are not racist because their co-workers, neighbors, that cousin is black or whatnot. I don't know. I've had the most stupidest excuses this year. So let's talk about the why. Why are black creators being silenced? Why is social media silencing black creators? Black knowledge is black power. And what have white people always oppressed? Black power. What have white people always tried to decline black people, or to deny black people? Access to their true history, access to their true selves. Because once you know your true history, you know your true power. And if you know your true power, you rise up to your full potential. So what does that mean? The black people's awakening, the black nation's awakening, doesn't matter if it's in the diaspora or in the motherland, is the downfall of the Western world. quote me, I said it. I have been saying this for the last 7 years. Once the Black nation globally awakens as a whole, I'm not talking about partially, I'm talking about the islands, I'm talking about Africa, I'm talking about America, and I'm talking about the whole of Africa. I'm talking about Black people in the diaspora, Germany, the whole of Europe, Russia, Asia, Australia, name it. Once Black people globally unite, and it is going to happen, it is just a matter of time. That is the downfall of the Western world. Because with that, borders in Africa are going to have lesser value. Currencies are going to have lesser value. And hopefully, businesses in Africa won't be thriving, Western businesses, because they are going to be checked upon. But right now, those things are minor steps with a huge effect. Like silencing and censoring Black creators means you are suppressing, oppressing, and silencing voices that are going to wake up other Black people, other Black knowledge. And it's going to, this is like a tree. Like Black people have planted that seed, their ancestors, 500 years ago, they have planted a seed, and Black people have been watering this seed. The seed is growing. It has been growing for the last 500 years. But the seed has been maybe 2 meters high palm tree. But now that tree is about to become a giant mammoth tree. I'm talking about a tree that can house different types of animals. I'm talking about a tree that produces so much oxygen that it can nurture a whole economical system inside that tree. And that is exactly what Black knowledge is, and Black power. It was once just a small something that was planted. The ground has been watered. The ground has been taken care of. And that tree is growing and is flourishing. And that is what white supremacy cannot stand. Because, see it now, why was this system set up? It was set up for Black people to be oppressed. There's a quote of a man that said, if you want to oppress Black people, you do it right for the next 300 years so that they won't wake up and they won't bring your system to fall. Unfortunately, I've forgotten his name. It was a white man, of course. So this is exactly what has been happening. And we've crossed this border long ago. Like we are counting 576 years of Black oppression and ongoing oppression. And this is just 1444 was only when the first slave ship took off of the west coast of Africa. Things have happened before that time. So this is not just 576 years, and that one alone is like 6 to 7 generations. So we are talking about a tree that has continuously been watered, continuously been growth and nurtured, and that tree is about to house an economical system in itself, and that is what white supremacy is trying to prevent from happening. Once Black creators are being banned, every time a Black creator or anybody in general that's Black and that's speaking against the system, 5 more people are going to get louder. We are no longer at the point of this is a movement that's stoppable. It's no longer stoppable because it's social media. The internet never forgets. Once it's up, it's up. Even if TikTok bans it, it is up. Because there are thousands, millions of people that have shared, that have staged, that have deleted, that have saved videos. Once it's up, it's up. And that growth of that tree is no longer stoppable. So the faster we realize that it's either we help nurture that tree, or we are going to be swallowed by its roots. It is really that simple. So this is still a system of guilt. It is still a question of guilt. Because once we allow this to happen and we allow these people to be silenced, we are part of the oppression. Silence in situations of injustice is choosing the side of the oppressor. So it's up to you, it's up to me. If you want to choose the side of the oppressor, please go ahead. Go and choose the side of the oppressor, but you are going to be swallowed by the roots. It's really that simple. So for all of you who are wondering, another fact, the TikTok creator, a Black woman, her name is Bukutrice, I hope I pronounced that rightly. She created a sound by the 12th of August 2020 that said they want Black people to leave this app. They want us, but what we should do is once you see a Black person on your For You page, like their content, share their content. She made it a sound. That sound, as we are talking now, has 5,213 videos. And this is just August. So you do the maths. You know that more than 5,200 people or videos that have been created have been crying out about this. This is not a minor problem. This is a huge problem. This is freedom. This is freedom of speech that is going to be denied to black people, that has been denied to black people. This is racism. This is racism. We have to stop it. This is just one part of the whole problem. Black people being silenced and being banned is just one single part of the problem. And once we allow one part of the problem, we've allowed the entire problem to continue being a problem. So this doesn't just, it affects anybody that speaks against the system. As we are talking now, my TikTok account got banned by the 17th of December. It is still banned till the 26th of December, and I'm recording this video by the 25th of December. So, and I was banned for, I cannot receive messages, I cannot comment, I cannot upload anything, I cannot interact in no way. I was completely shut off my account for 4 good days. I did absolutely nothing. TikTok took my videos down for harassment and bullying and for hate speech, and I did neither. What I did was I stitched people's content and I called them out for their racism. The original video I stitched is still there, and my content was taken down. So this is a topic about the problem. Is a problem about the topic. Sorry for the misconception. The topic is racism and the problem and the hand of white people in today's racism, and that is exactly what TikTok is trying to ban. All social media does that. So, and of course, it is the minority of this is black people, because see now, at the end of the day, if a white person like me speaks out on this, who is going to share it? 95% of the people that will share it are black people. And if you ban those black people, you literally automatically ban my own voice too. So, and another thing is that the system in general, the common knowledge is that white people are going to slaughter other white people verbally for doing that, for calling out other white people, because of course they don't want to be called out. So the system knows, don't worry about the white creators talking about racism, because they are going to be fucked by their own people anyway. So let's focus on the black people, because they are going to wake other black people up. Because in many cases, of course, when black people talk about their own history to fellow black people, it is still different than when I do that, which is not going to happen because I'm not in that position. So as white people, we need to know our lane. We need to know our position. Our position and our duty is to end the system. This is not to be negated. There is no buts. This is the only thing that we are supposed to do. We are not supposed to talk for, on behalf, or about black people in that sense. Like, we are not supposed to give black people our voice because they don't need our voice. I'm sorry, I've said this in a video before. I've said this several times before. So if you're here from a previous video, I'm sorry for repeating myself over and over again, but it needs to be said, because we have that notion that, oh, I'm an ally, I speak for black people. No. If you speak against white people, you are just a decent human being. Nothing more, nothing less. We don't do that ally thing here. You are not an ally. Stop calling yourself that. So please, if you are black, another thing I want to say, if you have any suggestion that I could talk about, I'm definitely going to do that. If I have enough knowledge and if it's in my place to talk about it, then I will gladly do that. Once again, thank you, Icebox, for suggesting this video. I'm really, really glad you did. I hope you all watched it till here. We are at 27 minutes. I'm really sorry, but it's not these topics are not just something you can comprehend or talk about in 5 minutes. It's just so deep. There's so much information. I wish you all that celebrate a Merry Christmas. Those of you that celebrate, Happy Kwanzaa. I hope you're all in good health, in good conditions. I hope you're all surrounded by your loved ones. Those of you that are not, remember there is a rainbow after every rain. I hope you're all in good health. I hope you're all mentally ready for the next year. I hope the next year is going to bring more joy than this year did. And please never lose hope. The fight is a long one. And if you're black, this fight is not on your shoulders. Please know that. Please don't interact with racist white people. It's not your duty to do that. You need to keep your mental sanity. You need to heal. Your duty is not to wake up white people. Your job is healing. So I wish you everybody a happy weekend, and I hope whatever you're celebrating, I hope you do it happily, and may you all stay blessed.